Thanks so much for making our tails wag by watching this guest interview from Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life. Now, here comes another pawsome guest interview from Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life.
Pause up, pet pals. Welcome to Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life Show. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Now, for today's show, we focus on an easy way to protect our pets. And then later on, we're going to spotlight a nonprofit helping cats with special needs. So first up, let me just say out loud a question I am betting you have asked yourself. What if you kissed your pets before leaving your house to run a quick errand, but you got in an accident, it landed you in the hospital, or worse, took your life? What proactive action could you take to ensure that the first responders quickly learn you have pets now stranded at home? It's a key question that has inspired our first guest to create Save My Pet ID Tag Company. So, without further ado, please give pause and applause to the founder, Janice Cobb. Welcome to the show, Janice.
Thank you so much, Arden. I'm honored to be here. Just as you were introducing my Save My Pet ID tag, I have to wipe tears away from my eyes because that has been my greatest fear. I've been a widow for many years. I live alone, and I have 4 beautiful cats. And the inspiration came to me when I was sideswiped by a truck in 2016.
Ooh.
And I was very fortunate in that I lived, my humble Toyota Camry cared for me, I was fine, but that did not necessarily have to happen, because had my car spun around, I would have had a Viking funeral on the New York State Thruway because I would have hit broadside on the gas tank side.
Oh, no. Well, yes, and I think you're bringing up something. We all feel like, just taking our car and making a quick errand, nothing bad's going to happen.
You never know. You never know.
And I think what you're showing is that I've had other guests on our show, Amy Shiver, that is all about how to care for your pets, in a will and things like that, should they outlive you. But you're kind of taking that immediate step because they need to eat. They need to go potty. They need things. And
that's it.
So I don't want this to be a downer, but I do want it to be inspiring because you probably looked around and said, this isn't here. We need to do something about
That's
it.
exactly it.
Yeah.
My great concern. I lived in Alaska.
Wow.
I earned my master's there, and I had a 17-year-old, very feisty, diabetic, hypertensive cat.
Was the cat's name Happy?
Actually, it was Fally B, short for Alden. It was very sweet. She was a very lovely cat. She got salmon on demand.
Wow.
She was I loved her. She was a wonderful cat. But I had written in the inside of my day runner, if the owner of this day runner is found unconscious, I have a hypertensive diabetic cat who's 17, and this is the number of my veterinarian. So the genesis of my Save My Pet ID tag was actually in 98. But after being sideswiped by the truck, I began to realize that the situation was one of eminent importance.
Yeah.
I really have to make sure that this is available en masse, because we do take for granted that we will be there. We do take for granted, and they're dependent on us.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned you have currently 4 cats. I know they're listening. And for you all on YouTube, they may even grace our presence with a tail or a mugshot. But shout out to them because they are listening, Janice.
Absolutely.
So who are they?
Well, I have my Roy, my sweet Roy, his sister, the beautiful Claire, and I have Mr. Big Stuff, Harley, and then I have Tiny Ruthie.
Tiny. Now, is Mr. Harley still up on top of your door?
No, now he's relocated to another location. He barely fits into this cat cup.
Let's see. Harley, there you go. See, guys, you got to sign up for my YouTube. You get awesome video. Hi, Harley. So, but you kind of dedicate this Save My Pet ID company. You call it Zinzi Pie.
Zinzi Pie, yes.
Who is Zinzi Pie?
Zinzi Pie was my beloved cat. And she was such a sweet, sweet girl. And I dedicate my company to her. We eventually, we go through life, and sometimes there's a cat or a dog or a guinea pig or even a horse who will leave footprints on our hearts, indelible.
Yeah, we call them heart pets, right?
Pets. And Lindsay Sky, aka Zinzi Pie, is my heart pet.
All right. Well, I like that. I mean, what were you doing, Janice, before you started the Save My Pet ID tag company? What were you doing? Were you a brain surgeon? Were you making
hardly.
pizzas? What were you doing?
Well, as a matter of fact, the impetus for my Save My Pet ID tag grew out of my quote other job. I'm an adjunct professor.
Oh, okay.
And prior to COVID, I was spending 5 hours a day minimum on the road, traveling from assignment to assignment. For those of you who don't know what an adjunct is, it's more of a predicament than a position. Oh, it's true.
You know what? Years ago, I actually was a newspaper reporter covering the entire state of education of Florida. I know there are 26 community colleges, 9 state universities, and there were people on faculty. And then the people I always thought that taught the best, I hate to say it, were adjuncts because they came from the real world.
Well, that's it. We come from the real world, and we actually would make more money if we were to hire ourselves out and bag for Walmart.
Yeah.
It's true. So
What's your subject area?
Anthropology, and especially coevolution of humans.
Oh my God, you just said a big word. What? The what?
The coevolution of humans and pathogens. When you have everything in the world co-evolves together, it's as though everything on the stage at the same time is doing a dance together, and everything has an intimate effect on everything else.
Wow.
And so if one aspect in the environment changes, everything will change. It's like turning a kaleidoscope.
Yeah, that's a really good analogy.
I love it.
So before COVID, you were on the road and going from probably one campus to another. Is this in the New Jersey area?
New Jersey and New York State.
Okay.
I was in Poughkeepsie. I was in New Rochelle. I was in Putnam County, as well as Wayne, New Jersey, and Rockland County. I would, I call it creative driving, but I think you get the idea.
Yeah.
Because the more courses that you can load up for a semester, the greater your chance for economic survival.
Yes.
So
definitely.
You find yourself rolling down the window and saying, "Hey, buddy, I can get out of my car and help you push. Come on, go faster." And you get there, you pull in there, and you teach your class, get in the car, woof, and off you go again. But it's when you drive a lot, it's like winning the lottery. You need to buy a lot of tickets to make it happen. If you're going to be in a crash, the chances of being in a crash are exponentially increased the more times you are on the road.
Yep, you're right. Well, I'm glad you're here and not driving while you're on the show. That's cool. So you got your eyes on the screen.
Thank you for that. Oh, yeah.
So you said you got this idea while you were going dashing from one classroom to the next.
Yes, because there's no way of being able to alert people. It's a takeoff on the Medical Alert bracelet.
Yeah.
R&D manufacturer of Pawtucket, Rhode Island, is the world's largest manufacturer of Medical Alert jewelry. And if you have an insulin pump, if you have a pacemaker, if you are on Coumadin, you're probably not going to put a little note in your wallet. You want people to see it instantly.
So what you have the pendant, you've got a bracelet, maybe a keychain. Mm-hmm. We've got a minute before we take our first break, Janice. So the Medical Alert sort of got you thinking about our best friends, our pets, right?
Yes, our family.
Yeah,
and,
they are.
And the front of the tag is my address and the number of pets I have. And on the back is information on a trusted contact. If
I like
anything
that.
happens to me, she's got the key to my house.
Yep. That's good. Hey, everyone. We're speaking with Janice Cobb. She is the founder, the creator, the impetus behind Save My Pet ID tag. And quickly, I know what the website is, but can you tell us before we go to take a break?
Sure. It's all lowercase, all one word, save, SAVE, my, MY, pet, PET, ID, tag,
I really like that you did that. You enunciated. You should be on a radio show. Oh, you
Thank you.
are.
I am. Yeah, I am. How about that?
Hey,
Thank you.
everybody. We're going to be back talking to Janice Cobb after we take this break. You know the drill. Sit, stay. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Four-Legged Life. I'm your host, Arden Moore. I'm really enjoying my time talking with Janice. And guys, she is really teaching us something we need to do. It's very inexpensive, but it's so priceless. In fact, without her even knowing, I went after I checked out her site and created a couple of ID tags for my keychain, one for me and one for my spouse, because we have 4 cats and 2 dogs. We call it the Furry Brady Bunch. When we got married, we merged and everybody gets along. But, you know, just something simple like both of us maybe going out to grab a bite to eat. There's no one at home. You know, certainly my sister lives nearby and her brother lives nearby and they have keys to get to our house. But Janice, yours is about telling that first responder. And I teach pet first aid with Pet First Aid for You. And I got to tell you, I know a lot of first responders who have pets and who also recognize the importance of pets being part of our family. So tell us how you're getting that instant, hey, somebody needs to know that there's a pet in the house, right?
Absolutely. Pawtucket, Rhode Island in the U.S. is the site of the world's largest manufacturer of medical alert jewelry.
I bet that's going to be on a question on Jeopardy, I bet.
Thank you. And they make my Save My Pet ID tag. In fact, if you look at the bracelet, it's very cute. It's got a little paw on the side instead of the medical caduceus.
That's smart.
And then thank you. And then in the front, you see the number of pets you have and the address, presumably where the pets are.
Yeah.
It helps that way. And in the back is the trusted contact who's got the address, who's got your key. In fact, my trusted contact had honored me with the opportunity to be the trusted contact for her sons when they were in school.
That's nice. I love that. And you know, it's like coming full circle. So if you yourself have a medical condition, you know about the medical alert items you can wear. And we do encourage people to always have an ID tag on their dog or cat and a microchip. It just seems like we've been long overdue to complete this puzzle.
Absolutely. It's essential that the human wear the tag, because you could have your cat, your dog, your horse, your guinea pig vaccinated and everything is in place. But if you never come home, they're going to die. And they're going to die never knowing why you didn't come home.
Yeah, and unfortunately, depending on where you live, sometimes people live in neighborhoods where they don't know their neighbor.
Exactly right.
Ultimately,
there's something that in driver's ed we call the last clear chance, which means you don't even consider whether you have the right of way or not. If you have the chance to save the day and not have a crash, you do it.
Exactly.
So you could be living with many different people, but if they're your pets, you have the responsibility to see that they're safe, because you don't know what the people with whom you live are going to be doing, and it's not their responsibility, it is yours. It becomes like that famous Kitty Genovese case in 1964 in New York City, where she was stabbed to death because everyone thought that everyone else was seeing to her needs. It's the bystander effect.
I think that's true.
If they're your pets, you wear the tag.
That's right. And now, on one of your brochures, you have some testimonials that has to make your heart sing. And some of them are coming from professional pet sitters. I know that there are 2 major groups, Pet Sitter International and National Association of Professional Pet Sitters, NAPS and PSI. I think this is something that a pet sitter should encourage their clients too. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because the pet sitter, and as a matter of fact, because the Save My Pet ID tag does not necessarily have to have your name on it.
Right.
If you go away, you give the tag to the pet sitter.
Excellent. Excellent. I love that. I mean, I got to tell you, especially after COVID or wherever we are in COVID, pets have always been my family mates, but I do believe there is a lot of bonding that's been boosted because we were stuck at home and they weren't telling us what channel to do on our remote. They listened and watched anything we wanted to watch without a fuss. I just think they really showed how great they are to us mentally, physically, and so I don't know. What's your thoughts? Do you think, what's your game plan? If you could wave a wand right now, what would you do, Janice, for our
Well,
pets?
I would like to know what they really like to eat. Apropos of your wonderful article, your recent article in Catster with finicky eaters, I keep telling them, what? Don't you know that there are cats in the subways of New York that felt they would die and go to heaven if they saw this food that you're throwing away?
And they're like, too bad. And
That's
by
it.
the way, speaking of Catster Magazine for all you is the number one cat publication. It used to be called Cat Fancy. And our special guest, Janice Cobb of Save My Pet ID Tag, you got a special acknowledgement recently by Catster.
Yes, the keychain version of my Save My Pet ID tag won the Editor's Choice Award for
Wow.
1922. Oh boy. That's when
Janice,
this one
how
came
old
out.
are you?
2022.
You kind of sound like President Bush when he was introducing the Queen and slipped and said 1776 instead of
That's
1976.
truly frightening. I'm too young to have this happen.
But you did get your company got recognized by the leading cat publication. That had to feel good. You're making a difference.
Well, I am, and really, it's so important, particularly for people who are single, who are homebound, and who are elderly.
Yeah.
I have seen with my own eyes, because I help out in some of these shelters, elderly people turned away because the question is, what if something happens to you? What if you break your hip in the grocery store? What if you have a heart attack? And I'm sure you've seen that movie, that very charming cartoon, The Secret Life of Pets.
Oh yeah, I saw it.
You know what happened to why that big dog was orphaned, because his master was taken away in an ambulance and never returned.
That's right. That's
But
right.
if he had a Save My Pet ID tag,
There you go. Well, I'm saying I'm not much of a jewelry wearer, but I have my keys with me, and I ordered the keychain and one for my spouse. And I'm looking at three of my babies right now for you on YouTube. Kona, open eyes. That's the terrier. Little pop up head. That's Emma, my Gemma, and wherever Casey is, the cat. Oh, hang on.
oh, she's beautiful. Hey,
He's a dude. We call him the feline George Clooney because ladies love him and the dudes do too. For you listeners, this is Pet Safety Cat Casey, and he is an orange tabby. And he wants to let you know all cats, all dogs, all companion animals hope that you take Janice Cobb's advice and get something that has readily information about the pets at home and have a game plan. So Casey says, thank you.
he's beautiful. He's so laid back.
Well, I try. He's a good boy. He's
Wonderful.
a therapy cat. So, anyway, we've got just about a minute left. Before we take a break, everybody, this is how small the world is. Our next guest is Angela Hartley. She's from Tabby's Place, but you have a connection, Janice.
As a matter of fact, I'd heard of Tabby's Place recently, and my heart opened up to Tux, an elderly cat with special needs, and I adopted him. And every week, Angela Hartley graciously sends me updates as to how he's doing.
Well, you
And
more sponsored him than adopted him. He's still there, right?
I sponsor him.
Yeah.
I sponsor him.
I think that's wonderful. So again, I want all of you after the show to please dash over to savemypetidtag.com and find out what you can do to keep a little bit of more protection for your pets. Final thoughts you want to share, Janice?
Yes, I really would like to thank you again, Arden, for this wonderful opportunity. I'm thrilled to be in your presence for all the wonderful things that you do for pets.
Well, I appreciate you too. We both are got safety on our mind, and I think that's great. All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Angela Hartley of Tabby's Place. So stay. We'll be right back. Pause up, pet pals. Thanks for watching. If you liked my video, please hit the like button. Also, subscribe to my channel. I want to keep providing you with great guests, special first aid tips, and yes, more videos of these guys. See you next time. Pause up!